The families of university students Grace O'Malley-Kumar, Barnaby Webber and school caretaker Ian Coates will find out today whether the Crown Prosecution Service was wrong to accept their killer's plea of manslaughter instead of pressing on with murder charges. The teenagers were stabbed to death on a night out in Nottingham. Our correspondent Nick Dixon is at the Old Market Square in Nottingham, where the vigils took place, Nick, after their deaths. Just explain the sort of sense of injustice, I suppose, that the families do still feel.
Morning to you, Ranveer. Well, the families have made it clear over the last few months that they have grave concerns about how exactly the Crown Prosecution Service handled this case. They wanted justice for their families, of course, and feel that the decision to accept that manslaughter plea on the grounds of diminished responsibility was, in their words, absolutely horrifying. So this report, which is coming out today around about 1 o'clock, will examine how exactly the Crown Prosecution Service made that determination and accepted that manslaughter plea from Valdo Calocane, but also it will look at whether or not the CPS properly consulted the families throughout the whole process. And that is something that one of the families, at least, has told Good Morning Britain was not the case.
In a simple word, it wasn't a consultation, and in the statement that we released on the steps of the court, we were rushed, hastened and railroaded the entire way, and I've actually formally complained about the fact that the word consultation, it was written in such a way that it inferred that there was no consultation. We were presented with a fait accompli.
Well, the Crown Prosecution Service has said that it's been cooperating fully with this report and this independent review that's been taking place. We've spoken to one criminal lawyer who believes that the CPS has acted correctly, at least with the sentencing aspect of this case.
The CPS can't make a case murder where the facts are more like manslaughter and diminished responsibility. That isn't to say that they shouldn't properly communicate those possibilities as early as possible, because families, their anguish is increased if they're not properly updated. And if that didn't happen here, that's something that deserves to be addressed.
Well, it was here in the Market Square in Nottingham where one of the vigils took place last June. Thousands of people were here to see and support the families who showed such raw emotion, Ranveer. It was one of the most upsetting things I've ever seen as a journalist, and still the families are seeking answers.